Hello everyone, my name is Denise, for anyone that doesn't know. Today's video is a get ready with me while I also do a little Q&A session, and I'm going to be taking you on a journey on how I go from this to this. But before I let y'all go, if y'all could please subscribe to my channel down here. I'm trying to figure out a schedule for uploads, and I'm going to be announcing that soon on my other social media platforms. But for now, let's go right in and jump into the video. Going in with this E.L.F. primer called Lit From Within. It's a mix between a moisturizing and skin smoothing primer, which is pretty great. I'm only going to use a little bit, rub it on my fingers, and then rub it onto my face. For today, I'm going to be going in with a matte foundation. But before I actually begin, let me tie back my hair. Alright. I'm going to be using the Fenty Pro Filter foundation in shade 240. I'm going to be pumping 1, 2 on the back of my hand and then dotting it all over. So a couple of days ago, I had asked on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat if you had like any questions for me, and today I'm going to be answering those. But before, let me just dot some more foundation on my face. Anyway, let's go in on these questions. One of the questions I got was, what is my skincare routine? I actually got a couple about skincare, and I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on my skincare. I'm going to talk through all the steps and like why I do certain things. But to give you an idea, I use about like 5 or 6 products, and that's pretty much daily. Because I use the products both in the morning and at night before I go to bed. And I don't wear makeup every day, but on the days that I do, I take off my makeup either with micellar water or with a makeup remover wipe. And then I go in and cleanse my face, and I use the Philosophy Purity Cleanser. After I cleanse my face, I use a rose water toner, and it comes in a spray bottle. I used to use the Mario Badescu, but then when I started looking at the ingredients, I realized that rose water is like one of the last things it has, which means that the rose water is actually very diluted, and that's not what I wanted. So I use this like organic one that's like pretty much just rose water, and it's been doing like really great wonders to my skin. After the toner, I do my Neutrogena Hydro Boost gel, and then I go in with the rosehip oil. After the rosehip oil, I only use like 2 or 3 dots though, not like slathering my face in like rosehip oil. But after I do that, I use an eye serum for my under eye area, just because my under eyes get pretty dry. And the one that I use is an E.L.F. one. I don't know the exact name of it, but I'll definitely be including that in the description box. For a concealer, I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape in 34S, which is medium sand. Is the one that I always wear. When it comes to concealer, I don't stray too far from like this concealer. I've tried quite a few, and this is the one that I like the most. With that same brush that I used, I'm going to be blending out the concealer as well. Okay, let's see, I got a couple more questions about skincare. And I also got, one of them was, how do I keep my skin so clear? Part is because I always do my skincare routine. Like, it's literally a routine. I have to do it in the morning and at night. If not, I don't feel complete. And then maybe it's kind of like it's in my head now, but if I don't do it, I feel like my skin just feels so dry and dehydrated. It doesn't feel right. So I'm just making sure you're in the habit of doing your skincare every single day. It doesn't matter if it's only 2 or 3 things, but as long as you do it every day and it's like a constant thing in your life, it should definitely help with your skin. Also, my skin is dry, and that helps a lot in not getting breakouts. For me, a breakout is like 2 or 3 pimples, and I know what breaks me out. But when I do have breakouts, I do spot treatments. And the one that I use is like this like off-brand, well not really off-brand, but it's like an Equate like spot treatment. And I just put it on overnight, and I do that until I do that every night until the pimple just reduces in size and in redness, and then it goes away. And I try very hard, very, very hard not to pick at my pimples. It's a bad habit that I have. I'm using the sponge to buff out that concealer. Making sure I got it real blended out. And also on the bridge of my nose. But that helps my skin be clear. It's because of the makeup of my skin, it's dry, so it doesn't cause a lot of pimples, and also because I have a constant routine of what I do to my skin. Since this foundation is pretty matte, I'm going to be using this concealer, which is from Maybelline and 45 Tan, to bronze up my skin. Usually I would go in with a powder bronzer, but I don't want that much powder on my face today. I'm just going to be placing these like little dots or dashes along the perimeter of my forehead, buffing that out, and then once it's buffed out, I'll add more if I need to, but this should be enough. I got asked, how do you feel about Kylie skin? Personally, I don't buy any Kylie products just because I feel like her products they're actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, her products are pretty good, but they're not good enough for the price point that she has, which is why I kind of like refuse to buy her products. I hope it works out for her, but I personally am not gonna buy it. And also, she has like a walnut scrub or something like that in her like skincare line, and scrubs are bad for your skin. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna pass. See, what are some more questions I got? I got asked pretty similar questions, but what's my favorite makeup product and what are your favorite makeup products and why? So if I had to choose just one, my favorite product in the world is going to be bronzer. I love bronzer. As to why, I just love looking bronze, and I love that like tan look, and bronzer is a great way to achieve it without actually being tan. You can use it on your face, you can use it on your shoulders. So besides bronzer, I also really love eyelashes. I don't know if that really is considered a makeup product, but I feel like eyelashes kind of just tie the whole look together, especially on days that you're like not wearing a lot of makeup and you do a pretty like basic eye look. Just pop on a lash and it makes it look a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more glam. And even when you mess up your eyeshadow or it's not as blended as you want it to be, just pop on a lash and people will be able to see those little mistakes you made. I'm going to be using that same Maybelline concealer and bronzing / contouring my nose a little bit. I'm going to put a dot right here where my nose connects to my brows. And I'm going to do it on the same side, on the opposite side as well. Another dot going down the bridge of my nose. And then on the tip of my nose as well. There we go. With this brush from Zoeva, it's the 142 concealer buffer brush. This came in a set, so I don't know if the number is from the set or like the individual number of the brush, but I really like to use it for like my nose contour situation. I'm just trying to connect the dots and blending everything into each other. Another product that I really enjoy is the Hourglass translucent nail powder. I literally cannot live with that powder. It is like the best thing that has ever happened to a person with dry skin. It has a very slight sheen to it, but it's barely noticeable. I didn't notice it until one day where I was like just like very intensely looking at the powder for some reason. And I noticed that it had like a very thin sheen, but it's very finely milled and thin. It doesn't give any flashback. It doesn't make you look super powdery. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful for people with dry skin. I don't know how people with oily skin would like that powder, but I've heard overall that it's pretty good. I wouldn't use it to bake though, just because of like that slight sheen. Now that my nose contour situation is done, I'm going to go in and set it. And I'm also going to be setting my under eye, just using the Beauty Blender to make sure there are no creasing. There is no creasing down here. And to set everything, I'm going to be using that Hourglass powder I was talking about. Even though it says translucent, it has kind of like a tint to it. Not stark white. So I like that it has a slight tint. I'm not picking anything up with the sponge. So I'm going to be using a brush instead. I'm just going to give it a little shake. And it brought some product up to the top. What brush do I want to use? I'm using this one from BH Cosmetics. This brush is from a collection that was done with Ashley Tisdale, and it's discontinued. I didn't know that until like maybe last week, but it's a really good collection. I really like the complexion brushes they have. I'm gonna tap it on the cap and then just sweep under my eye. Oh, there's a little bit on the cap. So let me take that, tap it, bring it under this eye, and just grab whatever is in the cap and put it on my eyelid. I put like very little concealer up in there, but whatever is there, I want to make sure I set it before it gets creasy. I'm not going to be setting the rest of my face because this foundation is pretty matte. And I don't want my skin to look powdery or dry, so I'm going to skip on setting my face with any powder. For my nose, I am going to use a sponge though. Tap it, press it, tap it, and press it. I'm going to leave this on just for like a minute or two, not too long. I usually like to do my eyebrows last, but I'm going to do them right now. So going back to the questions I got, I also got asked, oh, name one makeup product you can't live without. That's going to be the same as my favorite product, which is bronzer. And more specifically, it's going to be a Colourpop bronzer. It's called In It to Win It, I think. So when I got the bronzer, I didn't think I was going to like it because of the sheen. But the more I used it, the more I realized I liked it. And that's something that's happened with a lot of my products. Like, I'll get them and I'm like, it's probably not going to be my favorite. But I'll give them a try. They end up being part of like my everyday routine. I was all kinds of messed up, but it's okay. I can clean it up with concealer. I also got asked, what's your favorite foundation? My favorite foundation is the Too Faced Born This Way on the shade Golden Beige. What I really like about that foundation is that it's buildable. It has like a sort of satin finish, and once you build it, you can get to like some really good full coverage. I just don't like wearing that much, to be completely honest. And it has hyaluronic acid in it, and I haven't checked the full ingredients to see where on the ingredient list the hyaluronic acid is. But just knowing that it has it, like, kind of settles my fear of it looking cakey. The Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation is definitely creeping up to be like one of my top favorite foundations. And I've only had it for like maybe 2 weeks now. It's just that great. I didn't want to like that one, if I'm being completely honest, just because the shade range for it is so terrible. And it's 2018. We need to step up our foundation range. And it's not because Fenty did it, but because of the year we're in, you know? There's so many more people in makeup than there were before, and we should cater to everyone, you know? Whether it's the fairer skin tones or the deepest skin tones, and also people with varying undertones. Just because someone is deep skin doesn't mean they're going to have a red undertone. And just because someone is fair, it's going to mean that they have pink undertone. There are people that are fair with olive undertones, as weird as it sounds. Anyway, moving on. Another question I got is, what influenced you to get into makeup? It's a mix between my little sister and just my age. My little sister, even though she's like 2 years younger than me, she got into makeup way before I did. She was still in high school, and I was kind of just like, makeup is nice, just not for me. And that's kind of just how it started. Okay, so for eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette. This thing is just huge, so give me a second. This one right here, the collab she did with Morphe. I'm going to do a pretty simple look. I'm going to go in with this shade all over the lid. And then I'm going to deepen it up a little bit with this shade over here. I believe this one is called Pukey, and this one is called Mocha. Yes. And for that, I'm going to be using this Sigma brush. It's the E35. I'm going to tap into Pukey, dust it off, and then place it here. I had to answer your question, right? I don't remember which one. Let's see. Oh, how I got into makeup, or what influenced me to get into makeup. So my other sister, she got into makeup way before I did, and even though I liked makeup, I didn't think it was gonna be for me, because during that time I was like, I'm not that kind of girl. Even though I liked it, I was just like, hey, it's not for me. Like, it's entertaining to watch. That's when I started watching YouTube videos and stuff about makeup. I started watching makeup actually with this Australian YouTuber named Stephanie Lange, and she's the one, or her videos are the ones that like taught me how to do my eyeshadow, because my eyes are hooded, and every time I would watch videos of people doing their eyeshadow, I was like, mine never looks like that. When I watched her videos, I just like watched her tips and tricks, and I definitely use that every day now. I still have trouble blending my eyeshadow, but the way she like teaches you how to do it is really great if you have hooded eyeshadows. If you have hooded eyelids, my bad. But as I kept watching YouTube videos, then that's when I kind of got the courage myself to start buying makeup and like doing it on myself. And then around that same time, I was going out more with my friends to like parties and clubs and bars and just stuff like that. And I just felt like I needed to wear a little bit more makeup. So by watching YouTube videos, I got the skills necessary, I guess, to have my makeup looking the way I wanted it to look. Another question I got asked is, where did it go? Oh, it's, what's my favorite makeup brand? And out of all of them, if I just had to pick one, it's going to be Too Faced. They have some incredible complexion products, including the Born This Way concealer and the Born This Way setting powder. They just have a lot of great stuff. But if I could pick more than one, my top three are definitely Too Faced. It's going to be Makeup Revolution. They've also been stepping up their game with complexion products. I've heard that their foundation is really good. Another brand that I really like as well is Colourpop. Again, they are super affordable, and they also been stepping up the game when it comes to complexion. And then I'm going to be going in with that other shade. I still have a couple more questions. Let's see what I have. I got asked if I'm a beer or wine girl. Truthfully, I am neither. I prefer liquor over beer or wine. But between beer and wine, I prefer beer. I also got asked what's my favorite bar at Frey. For those of you that don't know, Frey is Frey Street in Denton. And it's just a street with about like a dozen or so bars. And they are very cheap. Like, you can get drunk with like max $10 on Frey Street. Oh, but my favorite bar at Frey is Cool Beans, definitely hands down. The margarita pitcher is my favorite from them, and their food is also ridiculously good. I feel like bar food is always really good, so yeah, if you guys are ever in Denton, go check it out. Don't tell them I send you because they don't even know who I am. Now that I'm done with my eyeshadow, I'm gonna move on and do eyelashes. If you see me sweeping this under my eyes, it's just because every time I add a color of eyeshadow, I just sweep under my eye in case I have any fallout and get it out. I think I'm gonna do my lower lash line before I do my my eyelashes. So with this brush from AOA, it's the number E124. I'm gonna pick up Pukey and just run it down my lower lash line. Since I'm not going to be wearing eyeliner, I'm going to give it that like eyeliner effect with this eyeshadow. And I'm going to be connecting it to this little area over here, so it looks like it's all seamless and together. I know I hold my brush weird, but that's just so I can get the eyeshadow exactly where I want it to be. I'm doing the same thing on the other eye. And also making sure it's connected. Now I'm going to go on and put on my eyelashes. But before I put on my eyelashes, I'm going to curl my actual eyelashes, and I use a spoon to curl them. I know it's a little strange, but my eyelashes are short. Oh, why is it falling over? Hold on. But my eyelashes are pretty short and straight, and I feel like an eyelash curler can just never do my eyelashes justice. I always feel like they're more kind of bent than they are curled. So I'm going to be curling them with my spoon. This is something I've done since I was in high school, so it's been about like, what, 7 years since I've done it. And no, I am not pulling my eyelashes or my eyelid. It doesn't hurt. Doing this has the same effect of using scissors on a ribbon. And the eyelashes I'm going to use are these. I know they say that it's the Kiss Ritzy lashes, but they're actually Salon Perfect, and I believe 614. I just lost the little box it comes in, so I put it in this empty one that I have. For eyelash glue, I'm going to be using this one from Duo, and it's the brush on adhesive. I still got more questions, but I can't multitask apparently. So let me just put on the eyelash glue, then I'll see what I have. I got asked what made you choose to attend UNT. To be completely honest, UNT was not my first choice. But by the time I was applying to colleges, it was kind of late, and UNT was the first one to get back to me, also with the financial package. And they gave me the most out of all the other schools I attended. My financial aid package from UNT was phenomenal. I got a full ride, and when I say full ride, I mean I got my tuition paid for only 4 years, which then doesn't include room and board, that doesn't include your books, it doesn't include any other kind of expenses. Also got asked, how was your college experience from start to end? And let's just say college was a roller coaster ride. There were more lows than there were highs, but the highs definitely made up for the low points in college. My freshman year, since I still didn't really want to be at UNT and I was scared of failing, I tried super hard in all my classes, especially because I wanted to transfer out, so I needed to make sure my grades were good. So I had a 4.0 both semesters, my first and second semester for freshman year. It was pretty fun. I got to meet a lot of different people. I got to meet one of my greatest friends, who also was my roommate for 4 years in college. my sophomore year was kind of rough. There was a lot going on and I didn't want to be in school anymore. I contemplated dropping out a lot. And fun fact, I failed every single class my fall semester of sophomore year. It was rough, to say the least. And my second semester of sophomore year was retaking all the classes I failed. And I literally just felt so bad about myself. I felt like I didn't even belong there anymore. Like, my mental health just plummeted that year. But I stuck through it in a major that I didn't even like, that I was always like constantly like crying about. And then junior year came around and I was kind of just like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do with my degree. Like, I was contemplating dropping out, not because I didn't think I was good enough, but because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I wanted to take a break to kind of figure that out. But I also knew myself, and I knew that if I were to have left school, I would not have came back. And then my senior year, or like should I say my fourth year, because it took me 6 years to finish college. But my fourth year, I changed my major. Well, technically, it was like that summer between junior and senior year, I changed my major. And I didn't realize that all I needed was a change in major to feel completely more relaxed throughout school. And once I changed my major, I was like, this is where I should have been all along. Like, everything just kind of made sense to me. My professors were great. And that was the first time I had a professor, like, kind of like just tell me they believed in me and to keep pushing through like tough times and stuff. It was a great year for me academically, because like my confidence in school was up, just like me wanting to be there was up, which meant that I was doing better in class, and my grades definitely reflected it. And all those failing classes I had before had taken a toll on my GPA. But because I started off with a high GPA, I never fell into that category of like, what was it called? Unsatisfactory progress or something like that. Or when you're in bad academic standing, that's what I'm talking about. So I never was in bad academic standing ever, even though I failed an entire semester, just because of how good my GPA was that first year. And then yeah, I stayed in college for 6 years. I met some great, amazing people the last 2 years in college. It taught me a lot about myself. And during that time, I was working full time and going to school full time, so it was a huge adjustment for me. Eyelashes are on, and for mascara, I'm going to be using this one from L'Oreal. It's the Lash Paradise. I still have a couple more questions to go. One of them is, why did you decide to start a YouTube channel, and who are your favorite YouTubers? This was like within the same question. And I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for about a year or two now, but I never felt like I was good enough to make one. And I still don't feel like I'm an expert in makeup or skincare or anything like that, but I feel more comfortable talking about it. So I finally did that. And also I started this channel like pretty much right after graduation. So it was like partly because I had time, partly because of a mental breakdown, partly because I knew a little bit more about makeup. But yes. But I finally was just like, you know what? I can't just sit here and think about making a YouTube channel. I just gotta actually do it. For blush, I'm going to be using this one from Milani in Luminoso. I'm still pretty new to blush. So what I like to do is just grab a big fluffy brush, rub it into the blush. Then whatever is on here, I'm going to blend out on the back of my hand just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in and put it on my cheeks. Not because it's intense, but rather because I don't want to like go in with a heavy hand. I feel like you can barely see it, so I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. Still tapping it on the back of my hand though. Okay, now you can see it. There we go. And this blush, since it's baked, it has a sheen to it, which for someone that doesn't like to wear a lot of highlighter, I like that because it gives it that kind of like highlightery effect. However, I am going to be going in with highlighter today, and I'm going to be using this one up here, which is called Bigger and Better from the Gimme More palette by Colourpop. I'm going to tap it in with this AOA brush, the number F19. And like the blush, I'm going to rub it off on the back of my hand. And I'm going to do it right here on my cheeks. A little bit on my forehead. And then a little bit down the bridge of my nose. Yes. Now with that same blush that I used for my was the same blush or brush again? So with this brush, I'm going to be blending out the highlighter because I kind of want the highlighter to blend in to the blush that I already have on my face. There we go. I don't want it to be super concentrated in areas. I want it to be more like dispersed. We're almost done with the face and almost done with the questions as well. I'm just gonna be lining my lips with this lippy pencil from Colourpop in BFF3. And I'm bringing my mirror back up close. For my favorite YouTubers, I only watch beauty YouTubers, I guess you can call them. I don't really watch any vloggers or anything super specific like crocheting or like gaming videos or anything like that. So my favorite ones are definitely Jackie Aina. She was so funny. I definitely love Kathleen Lights. Also, she's so funny, and I mean, I've never met these people, but I just feel like they would be. I just feel like they're so charismatic. I also really enjoy this channel named Roxy Bella, and it's all in Spanish, but man, she has some amazing tips and tricks on how to do your makeup. Another channel that I like as well is definitely going to be I Love Sarai. She just does her makeup so well. Definitely Jaclyn Hill. I forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah, Jaclyn Hill. And for today, I'm using the Colourpop Ultra Matte Lip in Midnight Snack. Then, to finish off my lips, I'm going to be using this lipstick from Maybelline in shade Nude Lust. It's a pretty creamy lipstick, and I like to put it over a matte lip because it brings back that moisture to your lips. Okay, all done. I just need to set my face. And for the setting spray I'm using is going to be the Milani Make It Last. Oh, I have one more question before I go. One more question. And that is, who's your favorite family member other than your grandma? And I don't want to hurt no one's feelings because everyone's in my family and I love you all. And I love you all equally. But if I had to pick a favorite one, it would be the person that asked me this question. So now I'm actually going to be going in and setting this foundation. And here is the completed look. I hope you guys liked it. And thank you for everyone that asked me questions, whether it was on Snapchat, Instagram, or Twitter. I appreciate everyone's support.